Good morning. I'm Leanne Wood, part of the public relations and social media team for the show, and your MC for the Smart Stage, powered by CE Pro. So I just mentioned that I'm in PR, and that means I actually have no idea how the cloud works. But guess what? We have two experts here today from Nortek and Elan who not only know everything about it, but will explain the transformational impact of the cloud and AI in automation and home control. I'd like to introduce Bill Hensley and Miguel Alonso. Gentlemen, welcome to the stage.
Good morning, everyone.
So Miguel, let's start with a little bit about you. You've been in the CI and the automation industry for a short period. You come from telco, so describe that experience. What brought you over here?
I'm indeed very new to the CEDIA industry. I've been in this industry for less than 10 months. Before that, I spent over 20 years working with telecoms worldwide, helping them build the access networks that help them connect the internet to their subscribers. The last of those 20 years, the last 10 years of those 20 years, I spent working with software products that were harnessing the power of data that exists in the network to help them transform their business. In particular, spend a lot of energy with them developing network management tools, developing support optimization software, and also marketing optimization software.
Okay, so how does this translate then into the CI and the automation industry?
So, it's interesting. I get that question all the time. It's like, telcos, home automation, they have nothing to do with each other. And frankly, nothing further from the truth. When I think of telcos, their business is building networks to deliver services to end users. I look at the home automation space, and we are building networks inside homes to transmit signals, audio, video control, from one place of the home to another. So conceptually, it is the same thing. What changes is the geographies or the dimensions of the things that we're doing.
So conceptually the same thing, but are there lessons that we can learn here in automation from the telco industry?
Many lessons. So when you look at the telco industry, they've been, out of necessity, they've had to, for many years, solve problems that are just very new to us. So they've gone through the pioneering stage of suffering through different technology steps to get to the point in which they are today. For example, they have, as I was mentioning earlier, these really vast networks that span very broad geographies. And their customers have very high expectations when it comes to the availability of those networks. So they have forever had to figure out ways of managing, controlling, and fixing those networks remotely so they can guarantee that high level of availability. That's one. Now, the other thing they do is they have like millions of customers, not thousands or tens of thousands. So they have had to figure out ways to deliver support in super efficient ways. And then last but not least, if you think through, I'm pretty old here, so I used to have a landline at home. But if you think through how the services that telcos have evolved over the years, it went from the landline to some data services, video services, TV. Now you look at what you had. It's very varied. So over the years, these telcos were building a different network for each type of service. So they were eventually forced to figure a way to simplify that by bringing all the services into one network. So when I look at home automation, we're now at the point where, because of the complexity of the homes we're putting together, because of the sheer volume of automated homes in the industry, we're now at a place where we gotta go figure those things out. And we have the opportunity to really leapfrog. We don't have to go through the learning curve that the telcos had to go through. We can leapfrog technology and bring those technologies that have worked so well for them and to our industry now.
So let's elaborate on that. What are those technologies that we can bring into the automation industry?
So I think, there are many, right? But I'd like to maybe simplify it into three key things that come to mind. So the first one is Internet Protocol. The second one is the cloud. And the third one is the advent of artificial intelligence. So when you put those three together, you will see there is tremendous transformational opportunity for telcos, for home automation and custom integrators, to change from a world in which they deliver a value to their customers, to the end users, based on the design, installation, and commissioning of an automated home, and that's where the value normally ends, to a place where they continue to provide value to the end users, really for the lifetime of that automated home.
Okay, so Internet Protocol, cloud, and artificial intelligence. Let's start with IP, Internet Protocol. Just kind of simplify that for me. What is it? What does it mean? What does it do for us?
Of course. Look, IP has been around for as long as I can remember. Ultimately, it's a very simple concept. It's a method of carrying data signals over a network. So in our case, when I look at what Internet Protocol can bring to us, I look at it in two different areas. We carry audio, video, and control signals through the home, and we are digitizing those signals. So the first aspect that IP gives us is the ability to unify the transport of those signals through the home into a single physical infrastructure, which results in simpler installation, lower cost installation, and also lower maintenance costs. And then the other thing is, with IP, you get yourself into a place where everything that has an IP address can be reached remotely through the internet. So that opens up opportunities to connect and see everything that is deployed in an automated home.
So are there benefits then that we're seeing, or what are the benefits we're seeing in the Elan control platform of the IP connections?
Right, so when oftentimes IP is a bit of an intimidating concept, right? So when we looked at how to bring that technology to bear, our goal was around two key things. The first one was to make sure that as we put all the signals through a single infrastructure, that we were preserving the level of quality, performance, and reliability that people are used to when each one of those goes through their own network. So we put a lot of emphasis on that. For example, we just introduced our IP amplifiers, which use Dante technology. Dante is an industry-proven technology that's been used by pro audio professionals. So we are bringing that level of quality forward. And then the other piece is simplicity. Simplicity. When you think of IP technologies, they can be intimidating for a traditional installer. So what we've made sure of is that all our products are done and built so a traditional electrician installer can deploy those by having very simple user experiences with point and click, point and drag. So simplicity is the name of the game there.
Okay. So for the integrator then, putting everything on the IP network actually saves you long speaker cable runs and things like that as well. So when you talk about simplicity, it really simplifies the installation as well.
Absolutely. So it simplifies the installation from a material cost point of view, but it also simplifies it from a time point of view, because now you have to invest less time to bring all those things together.
Got it. Okay, so you said IP, the cloud, and AI. So let's talk about the cloud then. What is that? How does that relate to what we're doing here in the automation industry?
Sure. So the cloud is, look, when I think of the cloud, I think everybody here interacts with the cloud every day, many times. Social media, your video streaming, your audio streaming, your photos are stored in the cloud. So I like to kind of take it back to kind of the basic technical concept. To me, the cloud is the availability of virtually unlimited compute and memory resources at very low prices. And that changes everything. When you combine that with IP, so now you have the ability to connect to things, and you have the ability to run compute at very low cost, you can do pretty fascinating things, right?
Yeah, so we're seeing kind of a technology leapfrog going on here?
Definitely, right? So going back to the history with telcos, they were managing networks 25, 30 years ago, and they were using traditional server architectures, very complex, not very scalable. What we have done, for example, now at Elan is we've developed our management cloud, which is basically a cloud-based software that connects to every installed automated home that we have deployed over the years and allows you to manage, view, control every network that is out there. So, and the benefits of doing that are just incredible.
Okay, so we've got the IP network in the home, and then the cloud is able to reach into that and provide management for the installer, the integrator, the dealer remotely. Let's talk about that third piece then. Or actually before then, I mean, it sounds kind of transformational. I know that's the topic that we're talking about. What is really, if you put those two together, what's the transformation we're seeing so far?
So just to continue with the example of the management cloud, right? So now we are putting our custom integrator customers in a place where they can literally see potential issues with an automated home before the end user actually sees those issues. And they can take action. By the way, they can take action remotely. They can do it from their office. They can do it from their mobile device. They don't have to dispatch a technician to the consumer's home. So if you think of, again, from a business impact point of view, now you have two elements that come into play. One of them is a cost element. The custom integrator is able to either service the same number of end users with less people, or is able to scale by servicing more end users with the same number of people that they have today. So that's on the cost side. On the revenue side, now you put the custom integrator in a place where they can, with confidence, offer maintenance services that they can deliver at high value to their customers, but at very low cost for them, right? So you start seeing the theme of technology enables business transformation.
Got it. So on that line of value, I think I heard you say that the integrator can see a problem, fix a problem before the homeowner knows it is a problem.
That's correct.
That sounds transformational. Let's talk about artificial intelligence right now. So the third of your three technologies, how does this integrate into what we're doing?
So it is really the third leg of the stool. So when I think of artificial intelligence, I always try to put things in simple terms because those are very big words and everybody uses them. But at the end of the day, what does that mean? To me, AI is basically the expectation of having machines perform tasks that are normally referred to or reserved to the land of humans. Examples of that, right? Visual recognition, visual perception, speech recognition, or decision making. Now, the funny thing about AI is that the AI fundamental concepts, the theories, the algorithms, they've been around for over 30 years. The problem is that for AI to work, things have to happen in near real time. And AI engines have to be able to consume huge amounts of data. So you need a lot of compute power, you need a lot of memory, and that's something that just has become available in the last few years. So as technology has evolved, AI now has become prevalent, and you can find it, and it's finding use cases and solving problems in basically anything you can think of these days.
Okay, so solving problems, anything you can think of, but let's boil it down into the automation industry. I mean, what's it doing, what's it changing, and what we're able to deliver to the integrator, to the homeowner?
So when I think of AI, and just maybe to continue with the example of the management of networks, right? We talked about the opportunity that's afforded now to custom integrators by remotely managing and controlling networks. Now what AI adds to that is now the compute engines are looking at the performance and behaviors of thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of installed homes, and the algorithms are able to predict that a system is going to fail before the system fails, because it has learned those behaviors from other systems in the past and is also able to take action and fix that problem. So the concept is very simple. You go from a place where when the customer has a problem, they call you and you dispatch a technician, to a place in which you're able to fix that problem from your home office, from your office before the customer complains, to a place where the customer support technician shows up to work in the morning and the system is telling him, hey, while you were sleeping, I fixed all these issues for you.
Okay, so that becomes very transformational for both the end user to not have the problems, as well as for the integrator to know those problems have been solved before. How about some of those AI things, face recognition, voice control, that really the homeowner is experiencing on a day-to-day basis, interacting with the system?
So it's truly right. The example I was giving was just continuing with the theme of network management or system management. Frankly, when I think of AI, to me, it's about personalization. The opportunities that artificial intelligence brings forward to humanize the homes in which our end users live. For example, one of the things we have done recently with our product is we've introduced face recognition in our user interfaces. So when a user, a homeowner, walks into their home, the home is able to react and respond to that person being there and literally personalize the experience of that user without the user having to do anything but just show up.
Okay. So back to the three technologies, the cloud being one of them, are we sharing this information into the cloud?
So that's always a very big concern of people, right? It's the privacy and security of the data. And in our case, what we're taking very seriously is how do we make the most of the compute power of the cloud yet also the ability to deploy things locally in the homeowner's residence. So we usually do hybrid models where the data resides in the home and the computer occurs in the cloud. An example of that, Bill, is we talked about personalization via face recognition or video perception, or video perception, visual perception, as I said at the beginning. But there's also the element of speech commands, being able to interface and interact with your home using regular voice and regular voice commands. When you look at what we have done in the industry for the last maybe 12, 18 months, we all have worked to enable the use of voice assistants, Alexa, Google, Siri, and that's been very helpful. But there has been the concern about privacy, right? There's been the concern of, look, while I am talking with my home, or while I am at my home talking, somebody is listening and taking an opportunity to decide what to market to me. So for us, the next step in privacy is the implementation of privacy-first voice interfaces. So we can ensure that users are in their home, talking to their home or talking in their home, and not being listened to for any other purpose.
Got it. So it's security, which is important to us as part of Nortek Security Control. An example of that would be, I was on vacation recently. About the third night in the hotel, my wife said, you were really snoring last night. And that was just a conversation, but what I noticed is later that day, and I don't remember if I was reading news on my phone or looking at Facebook, but I started getting ads about snoring, and I hadn't searched anything, so something like the phone in my pocket must have been listening. So it's a little creepy sometimes.
Scary thought, scary thought.
Yeah. So when you're talking about voice interaction with the system, you're talking about natural language processing that we're keeping locally within the security of the home network?
Not only that, so we're keeping it locally, but also we're not sharing that with anyone. That's the ownership, and only use is for the homeowner.
Got it. So if I was going to kind of wrap this up from the homeowner's perspective, I walk into the room and the room knows it's me. Not just anybody, but it knows it's me, and it can respond with my preferences. I can speak to the panel, so it becomes a very personalized experience. Is that what we're ultimately targeting?
Precisely, Bill. That's to me, that's what these technologies ultimately enable, right? Super important.
So technologies are important, but ultimately what I think the homeowner or the business owner is looking for is a great experience. I don't want to buy an elaborate security or control or automation system. I want to feel safe in my home. I want to have a great lifestyle experience. Ultimately, that's what we're doing.
That's right. And maybe to wrap it up, right, when I think of these technologies and how they transform, I think of ourselves as having evolved through a continuum in which we started delivering products to customers, then we worked through our solutions phase where we're putting it all together and making it work. And now I see ourselves as being in the experience business. And really, that is what changes the game. The experience is no longer, as I was saying earlier, designing, installing, and commissioning an automated home, and the value that a user is willing to pay for that. The experience is something that continues for the lifetime of that home, and that changes and evolves as the needs of the home user evolve. So that creates, once again, opportunities now for custom integrators to continue the relationship with their customers for the life of the system by offering subscription services that cater to the evolving needs of the end users.
Got it. So shameless product plug here. We're at CEDIA 2019 and we're in booth 2013, alonhomesystems.com for more info. Are there any questions from the audience? Looks like not. Well, Miguel, I really appreciate the conversation. Thanks.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you, everybody.